Hello guys, it's Paula back to try to accomplish what I didn't accomplish, I feel like, in the last video. So first I want to show you, I meant to show you in the last video, but I want to show you how the watercolor embossed watercolor flowers ended up on a project. So after the video shut down, I was frustrated because, we had that little bit of problems on the pink flower. So I pulled out a different stamp and it worked fine. So it ended up being so cute, I decided to go ahead and watercolor it. And then I just put a quick card together. And I just thought the little card turned out cute. I wanted to share it with you guys. I have it made for a particular person, but just thought you might enjoy getting to see. You can see that this was the one that didn't do perfect. This one turned out great. And this one, little window, did cute. So just wanted to share that with you. And so on we go. So I'm going to do another collage sheet. It's called aTear sheet is what I'm calling it. And I have a few things in mind on how I want to do some tear sheets. And so I'll be doing one occasionally. And so since I didn't get the one accomplished last night, I thought I would do it tonight. This was last night's, just as a refresher. I did go back and add 2 tags. And actually, I didn't add tags. I just drew tags. Okay. And I just used my ruler on these. And you can see I was off over here. But, that's what I like about homemade stuff. It's okay if there's a few little mistakes. So, I kind of have already thought this out. Believe it or not, I have a plan. And the first thing will be to put this dictionary page down. And I'm just going to start right at it here. Hope you guys have had a great day. It's been a really pretty day. A little bit warm, almost, I don't want to say hot, but it could have got hot, especially in the car. And, but anyway, yeah, it was a warm day. I had to run to the doctor, and on my way back, I stopped and got a manicure and a pedicure, and wished that I could sit in that chair and be massaged all day long. I know some of you probably felt that way before. Okay, so I want to make sure I get this in the right spot. I want to line it up here in the middle. It's pretty much the middle, I'll put it that way. Thought I felt something under there, but maybe not. So it's got a little bitty, feels like a little rock or something, but it's not. It's probably just a piece of hard glue. You know how sometimes glue does. I'm going to set this right here because it didn't get this in for some reason. I must have completely missed it, or I just didn't put enough. We got to have it glued down. Okay. Now, make sure this end, that's fine. Okay, so this is kind of where we're starting from. And I think what we're going to do is, I told you last night when I was trying to put the pink rose I wanted to put on, that I spent that time fussy cutting, which can make you a little crazy, to cut those little things out. I just found it in a magazine, and I don't even remember which one. But anyway, I cut that out a few days ago, and I'm determined that I'm going to do a tear sheet with it. So I kind of pre-planned, kind of sketched out something, and we'll see what it turns out like. And I decided to go ahead and tear things because you know how it just goes much faster and smoother if you have it already torn and ready to lay down. Let me get this pulled up. I had told you that the next video would be on my book, but I wanted to get this done. I had all the stuff out to do it. I'm having a hard time just getting it to lay down right now. And so I figured, since I didn't get the book bound today because I ended up not being home, I would do this tonight instead of tomorrow night. I hope that's straight. It's good enough. So I overlapped the dictionary paper, which I like the way that looks. And I want to fill this host side with music, so I could put my flower on this side. And that's the goal here. All right. This music sheet is pretty old. That's why I decided to pull it out and start using them. This is different than the one that was my mother's. I forget what year it is, but it's old. And you can't really fold it because it will just crack. And see, I tore it a little bit right on the side, but that'll be all right. It's going to be at the bottom and it won't be noticeable. Okay, so I'm going to try to kind of line this music up right here, even though it's a different page. That way it will look like it's just one long piece. I didn't even need to glue that much, but I did. That's right. Who knows, I might stick it somewhere. I'll set it to the side. Okay. I used my tear tool also to tear this paper, just because it's faster, you know. And when I prepped the page, I just kind of prepped what I drew. I just kind of, I'll show you my drawing. Only I can make sense out of that. But anyway, so then I tore these other pieces here, and I'm thinking, I don't know if it's, I'm going to look and make sure it's going to work. That looks like it's wide enough. I think I'm going to put, I thought that I had some green paper. Oh, I guess I put it back in my scraps. Maybe I decided not to use it. I'm just going to have to see how it looks. Okay, now again, I'm not inking any of this. I might end up inking it, but I'm not inking it right now. Put it that way. You know what? This side has some tea stain markings. Let's see if that fits that way too. It does. Rick just brought us dinner and we ate, and he's got the dog. She could not wait for him to get home. So we got, I think I told you guys this already though. I was going to tell you about Charlie, but I think I told you guys last night about how he's going to get to, I did, I remember now. Just ignore this old lady. Okay, here we go. Let's see if this is going to fit on there. Okay, I'm just going to put it up as high as I can. We can always cover it if, you know, if we got it up too high. Oops, come up from there. And then I want to put this on. Okay. Try to get this straight. What happens when you work with things that have lines or text, you know, it's kind of hard to, you got to make sure everything's straight. All right, it looks wonky. I'm kind of a straight line kind of person anyway. It's how I've always been, you know. It's hard to do things wrong. I think, you know, in my mind, if it seems wrong or the wrong way, or that's why I struggle with, even though I can do it, I struggle with, I'm going to put this pink on here right on top. And then I want to add this, but I'm going to go over a little bit. I think you guys, some of you guys anyway, if it may not be as effective for people who don't like pastels or pink, but I want to make sure. Now see, I need to move it over a little bit more. I'm trying to have as much text as I can, but my paper was only so wide, so I have to make it work. Let me make sure that's straight. Okay. That will work. Now, if I can get it back there, let me get my pencil. And remember that I put it right there. That way, it'll look better. Make sure I'm still where you guys can see. I want to do a video, and tell me if you're interested. I know this isn't a card making type channel, but I'm getting to where I'm really low on my cards for birthdays and different things, and I happen to think, what would it be like, I'm sorry if my head's in here, to do a background, do everything with the same stuff we would do a collaging thing with a card as the background. And then we could, you know, stamp sentiments, you know, that we would want on there. And honestly, you know, it depends on, everybody wants something different, whether it's happy birthday, thank you, or whatever, or get well. But we could do them blank, and then you can stamp whatever you want. If you guys are interested in doing 1 or 2 cards, you know, and then you can make a few when you get through. And if you really like doing that, then I know there's a lot of card makers out there that are very professional at what they do, but I like to have fun. I like to make my own cards. I had to buy a card for my daughter. Not that it bothered me to buy it for my daughter, but it was almost $7 for a card, and it just drives me crazy to spend that much on a card. And I'm sure a lot of you feel that way too. I would almost not buy a card at all and do without a card if it's going to be that much. Well, I managed to bring that over too far. So, maybe we'll add, I don't want to add green there because I think I want to add some green down here. But I got to wait and see. So, let me see what else I've got over here. I may just tear another... Oh, crud. Let me look. I didn't plan on this. You know how that is. You don't plan on it, and then you need to do it. Let me see if I've got some pink here. No, that doesn't have pink in it. No, I'll tear some of this right here. Because this is pretty. I just don't want to get a bale. And I'm just going to tear a very small strip. Because I don't want it to take over what I had planned. Yeah, that'll be all right. That'll work. I'm not worrying on this whether or not there's 2 of this or 3 of that, because I want it to be how I want it to end up. Can you guys see okay? Hope you can. Okay, that's better. Let's trim off any edges we have. Now this one went a lot faster, and I tell you why, because I tore stuff ahead of time. Now, I may consider that sometime, you know, instead of making you guys sit through the tearing. Sometimes you'll have to. Sometimes I'll torture you. It just really goes faster when you don't have to tear and, you know, do it all at the same time. Plus, I don't have to sit there and wrestle with how it, you know, I have a tendency to want to tear backwards. Well, it's not really the wrong way. It's just the way I don't like. Okay, now, when I put this down here, I may put some more of this just to kind of, I think it was right in here that I wanted it. Let me look at my little picture I drew. Yep. It is. But I don't really want to cover up all the journaling area. So I think what I'm going to do at this point is bring in my rose and decide before I put any more collaging down. And you tell me what you think. I think it looks much better on this than it did on all that mess from last night. Yeah, don't you like that better? And we're going with like pink and green and black and coffee color. And then we added a little bit of blue. But I think I want to add this strip, not the white portion. I'll have to cut that off. But, and I'm thinking maybe I want to bring this over a little more and then put the text right here. Or I can leave that white on there, and that can be where I zigzag with black. I think I'm going to do that. Let's go ahead and put this down. The scallops. Let's go ahead and put the scallops down, and then we'll know what we're dealing with. So we know that they're going to go right there. And yes, I just loaded it down. I don't want these things popping up. Okay. I'm going to turn this sideways so I can line it up better. Okay, I don't care if it goes off even. Now, I've had these scallops forever. As you know, it was a sheet of paper with nothing but scallops, and I don't think I have any more. There was just a few, but I really like them. But you can make your own scallops. You just cut them out, because these are a random looking scallop as well. Okay, so then I was going to put the flower over as far as I can, but not shove it up against the... So I'm thinking right there, depending on where this rose goes. Okay. Okay, and then I was going to put this right across here. But I don't think I want it that long. So I'm going to leave that there while I ink this. And oh, my paper is a mess. Let me change my paper out. Because I don't want to mess up what paper I have in the right color, if you know what I mean. Okay. Now, get my flower back where I want it, so that when I put this piece down, it will go into the right spot. So after this video, I'm going to work on getting the other book, getting it all. Wondering if I want to slide that under there. I think I do. And keep the more rounded edge out. Let's see. I want it to go right there. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm not saying much. I'm just concentrating on getting this on here. You wouldn't think something... I drew it and kind of guessed at how big it needed to be by looking at the paper. And I feel like the green by itself seems kind of odd. So I'm going to do something different. I'm going to take a piece of this and a piece of this and just kind of put small pieces on here, so that we can see what that's going to look like. Trying to decide if that's the way I want it, or make it a little bit shorter. And just a tiny piece of this. Or let's see, maybe, looks like bunny ears. It's not, but it looks like it. I'm wondering what that might look like up there. But that's not all I'm going to do up here. I want to put a dolly right there. So yeah, I like that. Let's just go for it. Wasn't in my little diagram, but do you guys take paper and draw out designs that you think about, like when you're sleeping or when you're just having some downtime? My brain is constantly going. You know, it almost can make you crazy. It's like it never slows down. But I want that there so that I can put this on this other side. And then all the paper will be down. I hate it when it gets it all smudged. Okay. Okay. Now, let's decide how far down we want this dolly to go. And I have this, I drew this out on some, you know, brownish paper. And I want to put this tag on here, and I had thought I wanted it up here, but I really want to put this dolly on. So we're going to have to move it down a little bit. Okay, now I'm just going to, I'm going to put glue on the back of this, and yes, it's going to go through, but it'll change colors. I know, because I've used dolly on it before. And I'm going to do this as well. I'm going to rub it off onto this. And I will get it all over me. And I tore it. So, we're going to go about this different. Let's try this again. Paula, you can't rub a dolly when it's saturated. Okay. This time it's just going to have to fend for itself. Oh, that's not too bad. But I did use a dolly. One day I was playing around and I did use a dolly in it. It did cooperate. My hands are so sticky. Okay. Use the other one. It's not as bad. Now, I do suggest that you take it and rub it and try to clean it up. Let me get a wipey for myself here. But if you look, already you can't see it. Let me make sure you're still in frame. Or I'm still in frame. Okay, let me move this over. Okay, now, I've got so much glue on these two book pages, I have to stick them together and move on to a clean sheet. But really, I think other than the frame, or the label, is what I'm calling it, other than the label and the flower, we've got, well, no, there's one more thing. Just remembered. I wanted to add some lace. And now, this is not white. There it goes. There it goes. I'm going to move this. You guys wouldn't believe my desk right now. I say that a lot, but it's true a lot. My desk is the pits right now, because I've got the book going, and when I have a book going, everything is a mess, you know. Okay, so I want this. I want this to go right across there, I think. Let me see. I want the floral to be over it. But I don't want a whole lot underneath, because it will make it kind of bulky. Boy, I had it way over there. Okay, I think that's going to work right there. So I know that the glue stick is not going to glue this down. So means I have to get some Fabri-Tac out, and I hate my Fabri-Tac right now. And I can't get the lid open on my glitter glue. For some reason, I need to run it under hot water. It's been a little while since I've used it. But that's what, if you've got glitter glue, that will work great. I'm going to tear this little bit of paper that's sticking through. Well, that looks ugly now, doesn't it? Let's see if that'll cover it. Okay. Let's see what that looks like. That'll be fine. Because it was sticking out and it just looked bad. But I have another solution. Okay. My hair is frizzy. I was out in the backyard next to the pond, you know, letting the dog go to the restroom. And when it's always windy out around the pond. But, you know, sometimes it's super hot too. But right now it's the windy time. We've got baby ducks. We got a mama that has 8 babies. It's the first ones this year. I might have to stick something on there to keep it from showing through. I've just decided it's worth it to go ahead and just, since my pen didn't work, just put some more of this underneath. There we go. That will cover it up a little bit. You can't rub on things when they're, or you can't tear stuff when it's already dried down, Paula. Okay, let's try this again. Now I have to make sure yeah, right there will be good. Since I picked it up, let me make sure, because after all of this, I sure wouldn't want it not to work. Okay, that's going to work. Now I'm just going to bring this flower up and then just run some glue straight along here and then just kind of move it. Try not to make it too heavy. I don't want it, even though that's just a tiny bit of glue, you can still see it. I hope it dries better than it looks right now. It's very lightly on there. Okay. And we have a little bit left. Okay, let me make sure that's straight. Because this is the only chance we have to straighten it. It's kind of going downhill right there. Well, still kind of slanting on one side. It's better than it was. I can't move the other side because it's already attached, believe it or not. And I got to attach this last little bit. Okay. What do you think? Now I'm going to flip this over and trim off this stuff that's sticking out. Give it a chance to dry a little bit. Oh, come on. Okay. Toss that wet stuff in the trash. And there we are. This is where we're at so far. I guess I'll wait till that glue dries on the lace. Okay, so the next thing we have to do is get that flower on our page. And might be easier said than done, right? Okay, so I want to make sure I have a clean paper for this so it doesn't get all grody, and hopefully I don't rip any kind of stem off. Listen, when you do those little stems, those things, they're finicky. They're like, don't touch me. I have not fussy cut anything that I, oops, see how it got hung on there? I have not fussy cut anything, any type of flower, anything that has stems, or without, you know, one of them separating. See, like it just separated. Well, you know, magazine pages. This is an old magazine, so it makes it even worse. I mean, it's delicate as it is. And it was actually, maybe this came out of a plant, some kind of plant thing. Okay. And the funny thing is I had thought about sketching a flower. And then when I saw this, I'm like, well, this is what I had in mind. Something similar to what I had in mind. Not that mine would end up looking this great, but, yeah, there we go. Now, it is going to be a little bulky over this part of the flower because the lace is there. And I wish you would look. It's going to go over the scallop just a little bit, which is not what I intended. It's just that that's where I laid it down. And this one leaf right here is slightly hanging off. So, you know, you have a plan and it changes as you go along. And that's okay. You know, it's just how the cookie crumbles, I guess. And that's how it's going to be. But you want to make sure your edges are down so that these, you don't have them popping up on you. Like, see that whole section. The whole section right here. What happens is, well, you guys know this, but for the ones that don't, what happens is you start gluing on one side of the flower. By the time you get to the other side of the flower, the glue has dried and you have to redo it. So you always want to check the edges and make sure they're down like they need to be. Okay. All right, there's that. Now we got to see this is completely dry. The little rose that we did, that we ripped off of the little rosebud that we ripped off of the flower. Excuse me. Okay, now I'm going to scooch back over here so you can see. Now, where was this? It was right in here, I believe. That's the big thing, is where was it? Where was it? Now, see, it's not wanting to lay down perfect where it came from. But we'll do the best we can. See, right there is where it pulled off. Now, if you get down here and get all nosy inside there, you might notice that it had torn at some point. But really, it's pretty good right there. Want to make sure all the little thorns and stuff are like they need to be. Now, we're going to do this rose and get it where it goes. I was trying to think. I'm thinking it was, oh no, it wasn't last week that we got to go vintage shopping. We went to an estate sale and I got some goodies there. Nothing other than my typewriter. I told you about my typewriter. That was the only thing I could really use. Okay, now this came out right here. Come on, come on, come on. Little rose, little rose. If I can get it to lay down and be still. Ha ha. Well, crud. Crud bud. Okay. Right there. Gonna cause my flower to dry. Okay. Ah. Make me crazy. Yeah, see where I was trying to put it down right there. My finger had taken a lot of the glue off. There we go, that's better. Okay, so let me hold it up and let you see the flower. This is where we're at so far. Now, the thing that's nice, you're doing this collage sheet, you know, because I know some people can't afford to run out and spend all their money on collage sheets. But I'm just trying to teach you how to do it so you can make some of your own if, you know, unless you like buying others. I love buying other people's. And I'm real good at it. So I discovered I'm very good at it. Probably better than my husband would like for me to be. No, he never complains. Okay, so I'm going to put this label. Got to get it straight first. The label right here. And what I did with this is I just took a ruler, drew a straight line. I just took a Sharpie, and then I just cut out around it. I left a little bit of white around the edges so it would look like it blends better with the paper. But you know, you have all kinds of textures on here, but whenever you make a copy, whenever you scan it or you make a copy, it's going to all look like it's one piece, pretty much. So let me trim this lace off. Now I will do some zigzagging on this. I usually like to use a contrasting color. All right. Let me hold it up to look at it, see if it's missing anything. Well, that label's not perfect. I'm sure you're saying, your label's crooked, Paula. But that's all right. That's what makes it homemade. And so I will stitch around the outside of it, either with a straight stitch or a zigzag stitch. And then I'll do a couple random things. And on this other one, it'll be the same way. I would love to just kind of sprinkle them with a little bit of gold, but that's for scrapbooking. So this one didn't turn out so good, but I'm going to use it because I made it. And then this one can be for something that you need pastels. And I want to try to do a page with blues, because blue and pink, you know, are some of those colors that people like to use. And then we can do other colors, you know. We still have our rainbow book to work on, and I haven't forgot. That will come up after the book, because that always comes after making a book. You know, 1 or 2 videos after making a book. So, yeah. So there you go. We have a collage sheet, tear sheet. So now we've got 2 more to add to my other ones that I made. Oh, and I used a scallop in that one. Use the negative space and get them right direction. And these were inked. Now, I may ink this one, but if I ink this one, it's going to be very light. Because this is so stark white that, you know, it doesn't really look like it needs to. So, there you go. So, I'm also working on some labels. I've just started working on those. And I want them to be unique and different than any other label that's out there. And I can make copies of them and use them and cut them out. And I don't have to purchase, you know, I've purchased a bunch already, so I have enough. But, I mean, I don't have to purchase a bunch more to have different kinds. I can just come up with them. And honestly, I have an eye for kind of that sort of thing, so I can just draw it out and end up with whatever, you know. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, I appreciate it if you could give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. I think you'll have fun watching the videos, and you can go back and binge watch the rest of them. You know, the first few were rough, but I was new, and I want to welcome all the new subbies too. I have got an abundance of subbies over the last couple weeks, and I'll let you know the reason why. I just want to make sure I have the name completely right before I tell that sweet little story. So anyway, guys, I'm going to get off of here and get to work getting that book bound. And then tomorrow we can decorate the book and have it ready to go in my Etsy shop soon after. All right, guys. Had fun. See you next time. Bye.